12 months ago, I went to the Cannes Yachting Festival and I bought our very first boat. The last 12 months, we've been sailing the Mediterranean. But the one question we've always been getting asked is, how much did you actually pay for your yacht?
So in this week's video, we're going to go through the options list for our catamaran, highlighting the options that we chose from factory, the crazy cost of some of them, and the options that we didn't spec because they were just too expensive.
And at the end of the video, we'll reveal the total price we paid for our liveaboard catamaran. So let's jump in.
When you're thinking about buying a yacht, whether it's brand new or whether it's used, you typically start your research on the online marketplaces like Yacht World and Boats24. I know that's where we started anyway. And these sites are great if you're trying to understand the asking price of a number of different boats. However, when it comes to brand new boats, the yacht brokers have sneaky tactics that doesn't always show the true price.
Brokers want to generate as many customer inquiries as possible. The more inquiries they have, the more potential boats they'll sell. They do this by listing a brand new boat on some of these websites, but they list it for tens of thousands of euros below its market value, making you think you found an absolute bargain, so you inquire about it. Doing a search this week, we found a brand new 2025 boat advertised for the same price as a boat from 2023 that's almost 2.5 years old. You think this is a no-brainer. The brand new boat looks like an absolute bargain, right?
Unfortunately not. As is always the case, these prices are often too good to be true. Usually what is advertised with a brand new boat is just the bare bones of the yacht, just a shell. No electronics, no power supply, no cushions, not even any sails.
And that's all because of this, the options list. This bit of paper lists all the different features you can choose to spec on your boat, and some of the prices are huge. It's common to spend anything from 25 to as much as 50% on optional extras. So how much did we spend? Well, let's go through the list and find out. So let's load up a total counter at the bottom of the screen to keep track of how much we're spending. Before we can start adding options, you need to buy the basic boat. So just for the basic boat, you're going to spend 342,900 euros. And now we can start spending money on options on top of that number. Okay, and we're beginning our adventure through the spec list in our saloon inside. Now, we're kicking things off at the very top of our spec sheet is what XS call the sail away pack. Now, this is a little pack of features that ultimately allow you to live aboard for a couple of days. It gives you a bank of leisure batteries. It gives you access to shore power. It gives you some power points around the boat you can plug devices into, and a few other things, including a starboard helm seat, some lighting, and some opening hatches. Now, this sail away pack comes in at 18,700 euros. Okay, so we've had to come sailing to show you this next option that we spec'd. It's called the Pulse Line package. And the Pulse Line package is ultimately a combination of different things collectively together in one just really expensive package. So the Pulse Line includes our square top mainsail in grey. It's a square top, so it's a larger sail area, should give the boat higher performance. It includes our overlapping genoa, which we have on the bow. It includes some sporty features like orange steering wheels. It includes our textured lifelines along the side of the boat as well. Now, this package comes in at 19,900 euros. That's a lot of money and one of the most expensive things we've spec'd on this boat. Next on our spec sheet is this massive sail. This is our Code Zero. Now, in order to spec a Code Zero from factory, you have to have your bowsprit. And that bowsprit is included in the Pulse Line. So not only do you need to pay 19,900 euros for your Pulse Line package, you need to pay for your Code Zero sail on top of it. And that was another 9,120 euros just for this sail.
So we upgraded a couple of our electronic systems, one of which was our screen, which started as a 7-inch and we upgraded this to a 12-inch. And then we also added in an AIS transceiver, which helps us see other boats and for them to see us. Both aspects cost an extra €4,425.
We upgraded our starboard winch from manual to electric. €3,880.
So thrown in with the original price, you get this seat for free for the helm station. But if you want a second seat over at the port side, you need to pay an extra €3,750 to be able to sit on this side as well. And then if you also want cushions in the aft cockpit, then you need to pay an extra €3,270 just to make sure your bum is nice and comfy.
Okay, water is also really important to us, so we've made a few upgrades. We upgraded our tanks from 300 litres to 600. We installed a deck pump so we can wash down the boat, and we installed a deck shower. €4,675. This is our sail bag. It protects our sails from the sun and potential UV damage. €1,320. And just like that, we have spent €70,000 on optional extras, the equivalent of a brand new sports car, and we've not even started on inside yet. Let's talk about our inside experience. This is where Ruth and I decided to actually spec quite a lot of options just to make it really nice and homely for us. We are living aboard and we wanted a really nice galley and saloon area. So first thing is the galley. So this is the kitchen area. Now, cupboards don't come as standard. You have to pay extra if you want storage space. So this portside saloon cabinet, this was €1,155. So we paid €1,000 for a cupboard that Ruth can't even reach. On this side, we have actually probably one of the biggest bargains of the boat. This cupboard was only €370. So she can't reach this one, so that's a positive. Okay, let's talk about some of the other finishes within the kitchen. We upgraded the wood. This is normally quite a bland wood colour. We optioned for a nice white lacquer to really lift the boat up and make it feel fresh and clean. Again, just so it feels homely for us as we live on board full time. The lacquer, €4,080. And then the upgraded valley floor, we've upgraded to a really nice wood finish on the flooring. This was €870. And the last thing we upgraded in the galley are these Kerok countertops. Now these countertops are a lot more hard wearing, so they should last a lot longer than the standard tops. So again, just keeping the boat as clean and as fresh and as hard wearing as possible. So probably definitely worth the investment here, but the Kerok countertops were €1,090. We are in our saloon area, so let's go through what we've spec'd here. There's actually really three main options we have spec'd. First off is the grey fabric covers. Now the standard fabric that comes on the seating area isn't actually that nice. You kind of have to spec it. We went for this grey colour. Now this grey colour was €2,690 just for the grey fabric. So a little bit expensive, but you kind of had to do it because the standard option is not great. This table, we spec'd it so it collapses down into a day bed or an overnight bed if you have extra guests. And this collapsible table was €476. And then fans is the only other thing in this area. So we have 2 fans up here, and then we have fans in the bedrooms as well. So 6 fans in total. And the fans, for 6 fans, we paid €1,280, but a bit of a necessity in the med. So music's really important to us, so a sound system was an absolute non-negotiable for us. We spec'd this Fusion sound system, €1,990, the most expensive sound system I have ever bought.
Okay, the next one we hummed and hawed about for quite a while, and we did spec it in the end, which was our princess seats, which was an extra €1,210, but they are perfect for watching dolphins from the front. So for my favourite area of the boat, the cockpit, we did upgrade a few expensive things in this area. The first was the table, which came as standard with a white plasticky table. We upgraded it to a beautiful teak table that unfolds and becomes double the size. Absolutely love the table, but it did come at a cost of €2,570. We added in LED strip lighting, which was worth every single penny, because as soon as the sun goes down, we can still use this outdoor area, and that set us back €695. The davits at the back on the aft of the boat, they came at a price, we thought this was an absolute essential, but this came in at a cost of €3,540. And then the final bit is the sides around the cockpit. Which, again, for the rainy days or a bit when the weather is a bit more adverse, these are really, really valuable. But they did cost €3,990.
Going under the water, we spec'd folding propellers to help our top speed, €3,050. And we are almost at the end of the list. There's two last things that we had to spec and pay for on this boat. The second to last was the installation of the mast, all the sails and the rigging, and also launching the boat into the water for the very first time. That was €11,900, and that was an option you have to tick if you want your boat in the sea, which you obviously do. And the last one, still to this day, confuses me a little bit. The factory of where this boat is manufactured or is built is nowhere near the sea, but it was up to us to pay for delivery to get the boat from the factory to the closest marina, and that was €2,500 on a truck. There was actually quite a lot of options that we didn't spec because of the price. And if you've watched some of our previous videos, you'll know that we don't sail from this port side that often, and that's because of the lack of equipment. And to add equipment to this side was really, really expensive. To give you an example, to have throttles on this side to be able to drive the boat on the engines was €10,500. And then if you wanted a chart plotter, it was another couple €1,000 on top of that. So before you knew it, you were adding €18,000 just to be able to sail on this port side, regardless of already having all the same equipment on starboard. And it was something we just couldn't justify.
So the final cost of our boat, including everything that we wanted on it and to be rigged and launched, was a total of €455,396. But it's always worth looking out for promotions, especially around times of boat shows, because sometimes the factories do put on small discounts.
So why did we spend all this money on a brand new boat? Well, we didn't actually want a brand new boat initially. We were shopping for second-hand used boats, but there was a lack of availability of XS11s whilst we were buying, and we learned about all the benefits a brand new boat can give you, so we decided to take the leap. And ultimately, this is our dream. We've swapped our home in Edinburgh for a home at sea.
And after 6 months of swapping our home in Edinburgh to live full-time on our catamaran, we have sailed to some amazing places, and I can say it was worth every single penny. Every week we upload a new video following our epic sailing adventure. If you'd like to come along for the ride, please remember to hit the subscribe button.